Hello, hello to everyone here in our group, realspirituality.net. And if in the event that I'm given to upload it on YouTube, welcome to those who are at Seer's Edge at Real Spirituality. I got to tell you, I woke up so excited this morning. His will be done. And I can hear some saying, but do you know what day it is? Yeah, I do. His will be done. You know, and I do want to thank those who were concerned, wondered, and even asked me if everything was all right last week. It was, I was going to say ironic. It's not just coincidence. You know, in preparation for these live streams, I spend time in prayer, quietness, interceding. And he did tell me not to do a replay and to post in the group, or the live stream. And he did tell me to post in the group, no live stream today. And so I did, and without question, that's what I did. And it so happened, he'd been dealing with me as far as to be enclosed in him, to be focused on the work of his hand, not what anybody else is saying or doing. The outside world, it's a circus. It's a circus going on right now. And to stay focused on the work of his hand. And so I did. I just took that time to be enclosed in him and to be focused on the work of his hand. And it so happened that there was someone that stopped by at the same time that the live stream would have been done. And I didn't know, but the thing is, the Father did. And it was with this person to just sit quietly together and to focus in on I am that I am. And we had a very precious time. And here we go. The Father knew the timing of all that, if only for one person. And so it was for that one person. It just was a blessing for both of us. And so in that, it is to consider in being enclosed in him, he had me being prepared for a divine appointment that was set up for the next day. And without getting into what that appointment was about, it was in being, here we go, enclosed in him. And so in not doing the stream last week, I was concerned for those who have tuned in every week. I was concerned. And he assured me, and I want to encourage everyone here now, to stick with that inner core knowing, what you know in the heart of your spirit. And dare believe in your head what you know to be true in the heart of your spirit, and to use your spirit's senses, being sensitive to the leading of the Holy Spirit, and to have that a more full reliance on him instead of another. This is very crucial for the times ahead, what he would have us prepared for, what he would have us ready for. And quite frankly, he told me to just stop using the word prepared because we're past that. It's just a matter of being ready now. So this is what I stay focused on. But in being in my getting ready for that divine appointment the next day, it was very interesting just to be enclosed in him and to stay focused on the work of his hand, no matter what is going on in the outside world, no matter the circus and the entertainment that may be going on, no matter what anyone may say or do. And it was just so precious. And I wasn't sure where he would have me put this in, but there's something he would want me to explain. Here we go. All things are possible with God. And to consider him, he's the Most High God. Nobody can outsmart him. And his word does come to pass as he wills, as he sends it, accordingly. And it is with that is the encouragement in being humbled to him, before him, in seeking his will. and which makes a huge difference. But in that is to share something, um, because he would have things straight up, straightforward. And I almost titled this that, and then he said no. And I woke up this morning with such an excitement. He's been dealing with me on some things. And again, this is as it relates to others. But he, because of what was involved in this divine appointment and the life of my story as it relates to others, he would have me share that. And so what he was cornering me on is, why have you told others that you've heard my voice since you were 3 years old? And that surprised me. I thought, oh, what did I do wrong? Um, and so he told me, stop and remember not only where you were, but what you were wearing. And how old were you? And at the time, and I'll share it here, at the time, my godfather, he was carrying me and hold me close to his chest. And he was making our way to the front pew in the Catholic Church. And they always sat towards the front, and very social people. They're very social people. And so as we were walking up that aisle, my godmother was right behind us, and they'd stopped. We were at a standstill greeting other people. And my godfather was holding me close, and I felt very safe and secure in his arms. But yeah, at a standstill, my godmother took the opportunity. She was always into prim and proper. And that's just the way she was. And she reached over and took my dress and the ruffles of my dress and straightened them out over my godfather's arm. And then, of course, I was wearing these white tights and then the walking shoes, typical toddler. And needless to say, I was less than 2 years old. And we went to the front. And as we sat on the pew, the wooden pews, and of course, typical toddler, I stood up. I was looking up at the ornaments and the stained glass of the church. And I was looking out over all the people that were in. It was a very busy mass, whatever you want to call it. And, in my, excuse me, and my godfather, he had gently nudged me and he told me to sit down. Typical toddler. And I was just busy looking, and I kind of ignored him, and I'm looking around, and, and then all of a sudden God's voice clearly and audibly said, watch and listen. And of course, I was less than 2 years old, and I immediately sunk down in the awe and the fear of God. I immediately sat down on that wood pew. And of course, my godfather, he didn't realize what happened. And he assured me everything was fine, but I sat very quietly. I'm not a peep out of me. Very quietly sat beside them. And at that time, the priest started reading out of the Bible, and it so happened to be out of 1 John. And it stayed with me all my life. Behold, what manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us, to call us the children of God. And of course, in that, it was also explaining, we don't know yet what we will be like, but when he appears, we will be like him. And those who stay focused, on him will purify themselves, even as he is pure. And like I said, that stuck with me. But the point is, I was less than 2 years old. And so he asked me, now, why do you tell others you were 3? Now, I'm being honest here, because this is as it relates to others. How do we remember our own lives? And for me, in relating this to others, is to keep it truthful and accurate. And so he asked me, why do you tell others you were 3? I don't even think I was 2 years old. I was a small toddler. And from the looks of what I was wearing and my hair, and I was less than 2 years old. And he said, why did you say 3? And in all honesty, I realized it was to make it sound more believable. That may sound funny to some, but how often we may change things when we relate things to others to make it sound more believable. And when it comes to God, under 5 years old is hard to believe, but under 3 is even more. And he was like, no, you need to keep this straight up and straightforward. And at the same time, it's not for me to embellish my story. It's to be truthful in the work of his hand. And here we go with his word. This is something he's been dealing with me on all week, and I'm just so excited because who are we to tell God what to do, let alone when, where, and through whom? His word comes to pass as he sends it. And it's a disservice on my part to say I was 3 when I was less than 2. That is just a disservice to the work of his hand in my life and as he would have me related to others. So I'm just being truthful here and honest, and perhaps give any of you who are listening the opportunity to be quiet, not only be quiet within him, but to be quiet and consider the story that he's orchestrating in your own life and the things that he has done in your life, and to be truthful and honest with that without changing things to make it more believable for others. And to consider his word, his work, the work of his hand. And like I said, I woke up this morning just so excited. It doesn't matter what day it is. His word comes to pass, not because so-and-so said it, and for here in the group, not because I said it, because he said it. He honors his own word. He's good for his word. And it does come to pass. And how many people, they tend to think they pray a certain way in thinking they're going to make God do this or to barter with him. But no, do we stop to consider to be humbled in his presence and to seek his will? And so it is just to encourage others here, to be quiet in him, be humbled before him, the Most High God. He can do whatever he wants. It's not who are any of us to command him like a dog? He's not a dog, he's God. He is the Most High God. And to think what all he could do. And for us, that is something he wanted me to bring up too, is, it is in the Old Testament, not only to know him, but to know ourselves. And who are we in relationship with him? And who are we in turn of believing what we know, our inner core knowing in the heart of our spirit? Do we dare believe that? Do we dare share that? That's a challenge to us. And to be truthful, to be straight up, and to be straightforward. So in that, being quiet for a moment, there is such an excitement, his word, to think of his word. And in that, he also told me, and perhaps this will encourage others, do the same. But because of the things that I went through in my childhood, here I was with my godparents, and they showered me with love. I, of course, welcomed it. And I was greatly loved. I knew that and was secure in that. But then at 5, it came to be for me to be with my natural born family. There were no hugs. There were no I love yous. And then to go to school, looking forward to making friends. And then to be confronted with bullies, and I learned real fast Not everybody is considered an equal, and that's sad. But here we go with the instructions that I was given to watch and listen. To watch and listen with the willingness to keep my eyes open, to keep my ears open. And even today, this is something I've noticed. He had me really reading over Matthew 14 this week, and it's been so good and refreshing. You know, he was talking about planting seeds and the kingdom of heaven on earth, what that is like, and the seeds and planting those seeds. But the disciples, they asked him when he was giving the parable about the seeds. And like I said, it's in Matthew 14. But the disciples, his taught ones, they asked, why are you teaching these multitudes in parables? You know, and he told them, because it is for you to know the mysteries. You know, the prophets and the righteous people in the Old Testament times, they didn't see or hear the things that the disciples did. We can only imagine. And of course, he would reveal those to us if we're open to hear and see. But he also said concerning the multitudes, you know, there were those, their hearts were waxed gross, just waxed gross. And they had, here we go with free will. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to see it. They had conditioned themselves in the ways of the world. And it does talk about, you know, seed and stony ground being choked with the cares of this world. And here we go with our own choices, free will, to keep our eyes and our ears open, you know, no matter what's going on, no matter who thinks they're in control and calling the shots, no matter. But that choice to keep our eyes open and to keep our ears open to perceive and understand. And as I said, in the context of time with Jesus, you know, there is a series on, for those who are interested and have Prime, there is a series called Rome, which gives us a better understanding of what those social conditions were like at the time that Jesus came. And they could be very cruel and barbaric, you know, and to the hearts being waxed gross in choosing what not to hear and what not to see in the spirit, and to be sensitive in the spirit. And in so doing, and not wanting to hear or see, we see this today, those who don't want to see or hear what's really going on, you know, turning a blind eye to the corruption that is being exposed exponentially. It is giving place to wickedness. And those who allow it, they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to see the truth. And in those decisions, it's at the risk of letting your heart wax gross. And then we also have, I believe it's in Peter, letter of Peter, the hearts are trained in greed. These are things to consider. So in terms of our spirituality, and keeping our eyes and our ears open, no matter what's going on the outside, no matter the shunning and being treated less than an equal. These are school games. You know, it comes with bullies, name calling, the lack of maturity, which I would encourage anyone, read Matthew 14 and even consider maturity, growth and development, spiritual growth and development. So in that, no matter what day it is, no matter what may be appearing, you know, I go with what he's shown me. Here we go, his word. His word does come to pass. He's not like a man that he would lie. But at the same time, it is to consider we are responsible for what we know. And I don't know what others do, what they're responsible for. And I have shared things here on the live stream as I'm accountable for. We're responsible for what we know. And because of the things that he's already shown and told me, it is to have refuge in him and knowing his will be done. His glory come, and it is coming in phases. And today the wind is blowing, and it just makes me more excited. The winds of the Spirit. And so I will close up concerning four winds. With four winds, the winds to the four corners. Just to let you all know real quick, I apparently went from step 1 and 2 to step 10, and I messed things up on the website. And so I have checked with support as far as going back to restore the default settings and start over and get this done. Right now, it's not even showing up on the internet, even the front page with very little on it. And so I need to straighten out a mess to have this done. And I will be letting you all know that when it is up, I need to get this all done. And here we go, doing my due diligence to make sure it's done right. Hi, Bruce. Thank you for the heart, the thumbs up. And on that, I will close up. Have a great day, great rest of the day, no matter the circus. I am being sarcastic. I'm sorry. I don't even want to apologize. The things he's shown and told me, it's not going to change anything. It will come to pass. Here we go. But have a great rest of the week. Healing and health in the name of Jesus, by the power and the authority of all heavens and the earth that are in the name of Jesus. And we'll catch you next week. Have a good one.